guys, it is Lindsay and Rylee. Yay! I am so excited because I brought little Miss Rye with me to do this Dancing with the Stars recap for week 4. Rylee's a really, oh, hello Moose. And Moose is here too. Rylee is like a genius actually when it comes to dancing, so I think it'll be really fun to get her take on the dances.
Yeah.
Little Miss Judge Rylee. Have you ever judged somebody, Rylee?
No.
Ever been a judge?
Never been a judge.
It's okay, I haven't either, but we're gonna pretend here today. Okay, so, Moose, love you, go away. I'm gonna get comfy because we're gonna be here a while. We got a lot to break down. So last night's episode was really awesome. I was super excited because I had heard from some of the pros, kind of the theme of the night, and a lot of celebrities were going to be opening up about their personal lives and some things that are really special and important to them. I always love this because I just feel like naturally you get to know about them on a personal level, which is so cool and is such a fun way to get to know these celebrities. And I feel like up until now we haven't really seen that from any of them. So I was really, really, really excited for all the themes and all the stories and the packages. That kind of stuff is super fun for me to watch, and I was not disappointed. It was amazing. But first, before we get into talking about the dances, I wanted to answer a couple questions that you guys left on the comments for the last video. Rylee, you kind of know, you'll probably have answers to these questions because you were a little mini pro in Dancing with the Stars Juniors. So answer if you feel like it applies to you. Okay, question. How much are the pros involved in the process of deciding the outfits? Do you decide the colors and everything? So we are very much involved in the whole process, but I wouldn't say that we always get exactly what we want. Sometimes the producers or the theme has a certain thing that needs to work and a certain costume that works with the theme, like as far as like themed nights like Disney night, or if you're doing like a movie night and you're trying to replicate a movie, there's certain guidelines and things that you have to follow. Also, sometimes you might want a color that everybody else wants that week and the producers kind of just choose who gets to have it. So that's the only thing. But other than that, I mean, if there's something you absolutely hate, they're not gonna force you to wear it, but sometimes you kind of have to be like, okay, we'll work with it. We'll work with it. Okay. What is your process with choreography? How do you choreograph so fast to so many different styles? Good question. Rylee, remember on Dancing with the Stars Juniors how we choreographed together in the apartment?
Oh yeah, we did.
We did. So choreography is the funnest part of the show and the most difficult because all of that falls on the professional. And I would say I love the process because I really do enjoy choreographing, but it is very stressful and it's hard because sometimes like what might be the best piece of choreography might not be the best movements for your partner. So you're not just choreographing the best dance and the best moves you can come up with. You have to choreograph to the strengths and weaknesses of your celebrity partner. And sometimes that means doing things that maybe you wouldn't normally do, but making it work and making it look good. So that's the really fun part, but also the really stressful part. And yeah, it's fast. You don't have a lot of time. I mean, you finish the show Monday night. I bet all the pros this morning woke up, had to quickly put together another routine so that they could teach their celebrity today. Because you can't take a day just being like, oh, I'm going to choreograph today. Let's just not do anything. You have to be prepared. Is the video packages of everyone meeting their partner for the first time the actual first time meeting them? Or is that staged? It wasn't staged with Miles, right? You met, that was the first time. So I would say
it can be staged, but like,
I would say 95% of the time it's legit the first time. There's only one partner that I've had that I met before we actually got on camera, but that's because it was Alex Scarlatos and we were like a last minute couple that was added in. We literally got told we were going to be on the show together the day before the GMA announcement, so we didn't even have time to like film a sit-down rehearsal before we were appearing on GMA together. So we actually met in person at a hotel like literally at 4 a.m. before we did GMA, and we weren't on camera, and then we just had to do another kind of like fake first meet. But that's the only partner that I've ever met before. Every other time, the first time I see him is on camera. It's very real, genuine reactions. So yeah, that's what you get. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Those were some good questions. Rylee, are you ready to be a judge?
Yes.
First up, we have Daniela and Nelly. I was super excited to see them perform. I feel like they have really like entertained every single week. I wouldn't say he's ever really completely nailed the technique of the performance or of the style of dance, but he always like performs it so well. He makes it entertaining to watch, and I just really, really was looking forward to this. So they're at first, which is a tough place to be, but it's also good because they had a really like banger song. They danced to Paso Doble. This was about what they did. Rylee, you watched. What were your initial critiques?
It was good. The energy was good. I just think he needs to have shapes, especially because it's Paso. That's like one of the only Latin dances like the shape really matters, and so he just really needs to take in that like male position of Paso. Shaping.
I will say he had his hips forward the entire time though.
That was good.
Which that's a really awkward position to be in when you're standing and then you have your pelvis pushed so far forward. It's not comfortable. So the fact that he was able to do that throughout the entire routine, I was very proud. And then of course, as always, he brought the performance. He made it so much fun to watch. He really lived up to like the epicness of the song. Like I feel like it wasn't like the song was just the only part that was really like fun and out there. He went for it. They got 777, which I think was a great score, especially for going first, and also considering that yes, the technique wasn't really all there, but the performance quality and the entertainment value, for sure, 777. Would you give it a 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 7 too. Sometimes, I mean, if I was really just like feeling it, I'd maybe throw in an 8 just because I really love him. I think he's so much fun to watch. Okay, so up next, we had Chrishell and Gleb. I was super excited for this one as well. I had kind of seen some things that it was going to be very sexy, which, I mean, if Gleb doesn't do a sexy foxtrot every season, then what is he even doing? I mean, he's got to have a sexy foxtrot. So, of course, we got the sexy foxtrot with Chrishell and Gleb. And I was really excited to see this because we have seen her in frame, and last week she was actually in frame, and I felt like she improved a lot. She's getting so much better at controlling her upper body and holding her own in that sense, because she's always done the footwork, she's always moving her body where it needs to be, but I did feel like she was relying on Gleb a little bit. And last night I felt her opening up that top frame, getting her chin lifted. Rylee, you did have one note.
Yeah. Just making sure that when you are doing tricks, like there's one where she went through like just pointing your feet.
Yeah.
Because it just makes such a difference of like extending the line and just like making sure that like legs and feet look pretty.
Yeah, I agree. Pointing toes is huge, and that's something that kind of just takes you to the next level. So I think that's a really good thing, and especially for a female celebrity, like as the females, we have to have beautiful, like our hands have to be finished and our toes have to be finished. Yeah. So yes, that was kind of it. They got 787, which I loved. I love that they got an 8. I think that it's well deserved because she has put in so much effort, and you can tell that she wants it so bad. She wants to get better. She's taking into account what the judges are saying every week. She's not letting it get her down. She's really trying to be better about it. So I loved that.
Yeah.
Very happy. Okay. Next up, Monica and Val. Okay, I have to say, this might have been one of my most, like, I was watching the package going, oh my goodness, I love Monica. So, first of all, I mean, Val has been a friend of mine for years and years and years, and he is a tough coach. Like, he is a tough coach, and that's what makes him so talented, and it also helps his partners go really far. And Monica actually calls him out and says, you need to maybe be a little more sympathetic and like be a little more encouraging. And first of all, props to Val for being just so like receptive to that and being like, you know what, no one's ever said that to me, but I could work on that. And it literally made the hugest difference ever. That was her best dance by far. Mm-hmm. It was so entertaining. They had so much content in there. She was doing so many steps. And while all of that was happening, she was also performing. She looked comfortable and confident. So whatever they did, I mean, Monica obviously is an incredible coach, and their conversation just made them so much stronger. What did you think of that dance, right?
It was really good. It was super entertaining. Just making sure you apply the samba technique, like the bounce and straight legs, like not just keeping a bent legs the whole time. But other than that, it was really great.
Yeah, I think that is a good point. Because, in samba, there's a lot that goes into technique. So it's like you can get one thing, but then maybe one other thing goes out the window. So kind of getting it all together. They got 888, which is awesome. 3/8 is incredible, and I'm pretty sure that's like the highest score that they've ever gotten. And I was really happy. She deserved it. You could tell that it was starting to frustrate her a little bit the past couple weeks. I feel like she's gotten kind of lowballed on the scores, and I was glad to see that finally she got like some recognition for the work that she puts in, because you can tell that she really, really works hard. So I love that. Okay, next up we had Ann and Keo. They have a Paso Doble. I have to say, I mean, her package was so awesome, genuine. I think she is an incredible person. I really love her personality. I think she's so just real, which is fun to watch, and it makes for very great TV. And I loved her costume change. And I feel like she definitely looked more confident this week. She started out the dance on her own, killed it. You could tell that she was just like living and loving every second of it, and I absolutely love that. And I think she just was definitely more confident, more in control. She felt like she was leading the dance instead of just kind of being pulled around and like following, and I loved that. I love that she was like on top of her feet. I think still the technique isn't quite there yet, and there was a lot of things that were maybe a bit messy, but at the same time she was so committed that you kind of forgot about it, and the message that she put into the dance was so special. So I really enjoyed watching them. They got 3 7s, which I think is a fair score. It's hard because, 3 7s for that dance, good, but then it's hard because you're comparing it to people who also got 7s, and I think her performance quality definitely, and like the message that she shared really helped amp up that performance, so yeah. Next up, we have Nev and Jenna. They have a rumba. So, just a little tidbit. As a professional, rumba is one of the hardest and like least sought after styles that you want to get on the show. Rumba is hard. It's even hard to do as a professional dancer because it's very slow and there's so much technique involved, and if you're not doing it correctly, it can be extremely boring. So when you have a celebrity who's not a dancer, it's really hard to like nail down the technique quickly, and that just can sometimes make the performance fall flat. Now, I was stoked because Nev is so good that I was like, I feel like we're gonna get some really beautiful technique out of him, and we did. I think Nev's upper body is like so unique, so special. He puts so much care into it. It's beautiful. He hits all of the lines, but it's not even that he just hits lines. He like moves through everything so nicely. He creates beautiful lines, shapes, pictures, everything. The emotion is there. The chemistry was there. I absolutely loved it. I will say, and you pointed it out too when you watched it, you said, oh, there's a heel lead. Yeah.
So you can't do heel leads in like pretty much any of the Latin dances except for Paso, and you just have to like extend your foot and like go like
I think it's like keeping your feet connected to the floor, and I think that's something where Nev is still kind of figuring his footing out, because I feel like consistently across the board every week his upper body, his lines, his performance quality is insanely amazing. His footwork could use a little help, and I think that was the only thing I noticed. But I'm really getting nitpicky with him because he is that good. Like, that was such a beautiful rumba. And I have to say, because the judges were talking about the timing of the rumba and like how it was maybe a little bit different. So this week, it was a themed week, and these celebrities were picking songs that meant something to them. So that can be sometimes hard as a professional when you're going to choreograph, because a lot of times your celebrity will say, this is the song that I really want to dance to because it means this, but sometimes that song doesn't perfectly match up with any style of Latin, but you just kind of have to make it work. So that's where I feel like the judges maybe felt like it was a little different, because that isn't a typical rumba song, but Jenna made it work beautifully and orchestrated choreography that worked to that piece of music because it is so special to Nev. So that's kind of when that happens, and it sucks because as the pro, sometimes they're like, what happened with the timing? And if you were to choose a song for that style, it maybe would be different, but because it means something to your celebrity, you want to make it work. So that's kind of what I think happened there. But they were incredible. They got 888, well deserved. I probably would have thrown in 9 just because I feel like his the care and the detail that he puts into every single dance is just incredible. So I probably would have done 9. What do you think, Ray? 8 or 9?
Yeah, 8 or 9.
Yeah. Which one?
Oh. 9.
9. Next up we have Justina and Sasha. I love her. They have a salsa. Rylee really loved this one, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She actually applied the technique really good, and I just love her performance quality. It just makes me like super drawn into her dancing.
Yeah.
And like getting a performance like good for a celebrity is like the best, because then you can just like improve your technique from there.
Yeah.
But like performance is like the main thing of the dance, so it can be like interesting for us to watch.
Yeah, and it's really hard to teach somebody how to perform. You can teach
Yeah.
them steps, but getting someone to be able to emote while also doing something new is really hard, and she does such a good job of that. On top of that, she is also really nailing the dancing. It's not like she's just performing and the dance is like so-so. I thought the salsa was so much fun, right up her alley. They killed it. They got 888. I think this is totally a fair score. I honestly would have given a 9 because I think she gave like 150% to this performance, and she just looked so natural and confident, which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
So I love them. I think they're so much fun together. They are just like a ball of energy. I loved it. Okay, next up we have Kaitlyn and Artem. They have a Viennese waltz. Rylee, what did you think?
I thought it was really good. It was super graceful. All the technique was applied. I really don't have any corrections.
I know.
It was really good.
She is just awesome. And
Yeah.
well, I mean, Artem is a great teacher, so I know that that is part of it. And she just like gives so much attention to detail that you don't typically get to see this early in the competition. So
Yeah.
I do agree with, I think Derek was the one who said that he feels like a lot of her dances have been kind of in the same vibe, and I agree. I think we've seen a lot of her soft, elegant, graceful dances, and I'm excited to see her get into like a salsa or a jive, because I feel like she has so much. I mean, I know. I watched her on The Bachelorette, and I am obsessed with her and her personality. She's so much fun. She's spunky, energetic. So I'm really excited to see her do some of those styles as well, because I feel like we know how good she is at the slower, softer, smoother, and now I want to see her do the more upbeat. They got a 9, an 8, and an 8. I would have given a 9 as well. I think it was so great. It was just all those little extra things that she adds really takes it like to the next level, and I think she just does a really good job. So yeah. Next up we have Johnny and Britt. They have a jive. Jive is a style that you're either gonna have like a really awesome time with, or you're gonna be like hating your life the entire week. It can be tough, and you don't really know. Like sometimes there's some partners that I had that I was like, oh, I bet they're gonna be so good at jive. And then when we got to jive, I was like, oh no, this is really hard, and vice versa. So it's always difficult. You never really know what you're gonna get. I thought Johnny and Britt did such a great job. First of all, I was obsessed with their costumes. I'm obsessed with his personality and just his energy that he brings every single week. He wants to be there, he tries hard, but he's also not taking himself too seriously, which is a really big thing to remember. And I love that his mom is so tough on him. That is hilarious. But okay, so performance quality, energy level, costuming, everything amazing. Like literally perfection. I will say the technique of the jive maybe was a little bit lacking. I think he was a little bit too bent in his knees and too down into the ground, and it made him just look a little bit flat-footed. I think he could work on rolling through his feet. I'm sure as an ice skater that's very hard, because when you're in ice skates, you're not going on releve, you're not really shifting your foot from this flat position. So I'm sure that's new for him, and I think that's something where he can improve, and that will transfer to all styles, just kind of rolling through the feet and getting rid of just that flat-footedness. That was what I thought. They got 888, which is great. I would have given it an 8 as well.
Yeah.
8 is great. 8. But I love him. I just think he's so fun to watch. Okay, we have Jeannie and Brandon next. I am just still so obsessed with her. I think she's the cutest thing ever. She's so much fun to watch, and she always brings it. This dance, particularly for me, was like one of my favorites. I mean, in the beginning, it was just, she was so like in tune and like laser vision and super sexy. Like she went for it. It was very sexy, hot. She was super confident, and I loved that because tango's hard. I was just a little bit bummed because at the very end, like literally one step at the end, you could tell she got a little bit mixed up, and it didn't throw her off, but it was enough to see it. And that just, you could tell that happened. And I mean, you can't ignore it when that happens. Sometimes I wish you could, because it's like a little mistake like that, especially when the celebrity just gets right into it again. You would think that they can just be like, good job, but of course they have to acknowledge it. But I was so bummed, because for me it was her strongest performance. I think she was killing it, and then that little moment happened, and that just kind of like, I don't know. For me, it didn't change anything, but I knew the judges were going to call it out, so I was super bummed, because I'm like, this was so good for her. For me, it just made me go, good girl. Like, she had a little slip up, she got right back into it, it didn't affect her performance, and she just kept moving.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What'd you think, Ray?
I thought it was great. Yeah.
I think her frame has improved a lot, even just from last week. And I think her and Brandon have such fun chemistry together, so I'm excited to see what they do. They got 777, which to me was way too low, because I'm looking back at some of the other couples that got 777, and not to say that like those couples weren't good, but I just think she did have more, and it was just one little moment that was a mess up, and I just think they kind of accounted for the whole dance as if it was that moment, and I just think it would have been better.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that.
Yeah.
But it happens to everybody. Okay, I am really just loving Vernon right now. He is so much fun. He looks like such a sweetheart. And he got super emotional in his package this week, which, I mean, it's like you don't want anybody to cry, but when you see him cry, it makes you want to just like give him a hug. And he was just so cute. Him and Peta did a rumba. What did you think, Ray?
I thought it was great. He had an intention to every one of his steps.
He was emoting.
Yeah. But technique could obviously be better.
Yeah.
But
he is a big guy, and he's got long arms, long legs, big feet. That's a lot to control in a dance like the rumba, and it's hard to hide when those things go wrong, because it is such a slow dance. And I think he did a great job considering all of those things. He did all of I agree with Rylee. He was like emoting everything. Every movement he did was super emotional, and like he was going for it. But his feet were a little flat, and like the footwork and the technique of the leg action wasn't quite there. But I mean, honestly, I didn't really expect it to be. I think that is such a hard thing to teach. And especially for an athlete, it's very foreign. So the fact that he was so emotional with his upper body, I loved it.
yeah.
Let's see. I can't remember what scores they got. Okay, they got 877. I was stoked with the 8, because I feel like the 8 was just because of the care and the detail that he put into everything, and like the emotion that he put into it. So I would have given an 8 as well, but I agree with a 7 on technique level. Like, I think that it could have been better. And yeah, I just don't think rumba necessarily was ever going to be Vernon's like perfect best style, but he did a really good job with what he had. So yeah. Okay, so we have Jesse and Sharna. They did a cha-cha to a really good song. Like, that's a cha-cha song that when I was younger, I mean, geez, probably my first dance competition, that was a song that they would play. It's just like a classic cha-cha song.
Oh, yeah.
Do they still do it for you?
Oh, yeah. Every time I practice, I play that song.
It's such a good one. It just makes you feel good. So I was pumped about that. And I have to say, he looked so much more relaxed this week. He didn't look as tense. He didn't look stressed. He was getting into it, performing it, and I was super bummed because I felt like the judges kind of downplayed that. Yeah. I felt like they didn't really give him the credit of like, I don't know, it just felt weird. They still just were addressing the whole like, we need you to loosen up, and his timing isn't perfect, but it also, I don't know, I felt like the judges were a little bit tough on him, and like a little more than they needed to be, just because there was improvement from last week, and his timing was better, and he was looser, and he was letting loose a little bit more. And I feel like they just didn't give it as much credit as he deserved. So I was a little bummed about that. So they got a 777, which I would have given an 8. I don't think it should have been all 8s, but I would have given one, because I just feel like you could tell that he really tried to apply what was said to him last week, and that's a hard thing to do, especially in a new style and a new dance. And I don't know. I hope he's not getting discouraged, because I just feel like they didn't really give him credit for like taking those steps to improve on what they asked. I feel like they kind of still just like hounded him on the same thing. So yeah, I would have given an 8. What would you have given? 7 or 8? Because technique wasn't perfect. I'm not trying to say it was like a perfect dance in any way, but it was better.
Yeah. think like at 1.8.
Yeah.
Like 2.7.
Yeah, that seems about right. Next up is probably one of my favorite dances of the night. We have Skai and Alan doing a foxtrot. She dedicated the dance to Cameron Boyce, which I think was so sweet, and it's crazy. I mean, we watched Jessie. I only watched it because you watched it, but like that was your show. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've watched Jessie like my whole life. I love that show.
I know.
Watching Skai and Cameron.
And she was so little when she first started, so it's like crazy to see her now because she really like, tonight she looked so mature, so beautiful, so elegant, and for someone her age to come out and be so vulnerable and emotional about something that I'm sure has been really tough in her life is pretty unique and special. So I just thought that was very cool of her to do, and she absolutely nailed her foxtrot. Like, it was so, I was blown away because up until this week, I feel like she hasn't really clicked with any of the styles enough, and I feel like tonight or last night, she absolutely clicked with this foxtrot. It was so, you could tell it was personal to her, that it meant something to her, that she put a lot of attention and care into it, and I was just very blown away. They got a 10, the first 10 of the season on week 4. I mean, I think that's happened a couple times, but it's very rare, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not surprised at all. It was such a perfect performance. Then they got 2 9s after that, but I was very happy because I also think she's kind of been getting lowballed on her scores the past couple weeks. Like, I think she got 6s last week. So to go from a 6 to a 10 is incredible and so well deserved, and it was just such a great, beautiful dance. So I loved it. Okay, we have our last dance of the night, which was super epic because we had all of the Backstreet Boys together.
So good.
I was dying. I mean, when they announced that at the beginning of the show, I was like, oh my gosh. Rylee, I mean, be honest. What's a Backstreet Boys song?
Backstreet's back, alright.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, that's okay. At least you knew that one. But this was such a cool moment, and I was really pumped that they could do it. I wish that, I mean, I think if times were different, they maybe could have been actually in the room. That would have been awesome. Yeah. But it's really cool that we have the ability to like virtually watch the Backstreet Boys all together at once. So cool.
Yeah.
This performance was epic, amazing. When AJ is doing his thing and doing the moves that he's comfortable with, he is like insanely talented. I mean, he is so good. All of the moves that him and the Backstreet Boys did were so incredible. He performs the heck out of it. He brings his own flavor. Like, he literally looks like a professional dancer when he's doing that. When it comes to the actual styles, I don't really feel like he has, and I mean, this is coming from a place of being extremely tough because of how good he is at his thing. I don't feel like he's quite latched on or nailed any of the styles like as perfectly as I had hoped yet. I think he still is learning how to bring his natural movement to Latin and ballroom dancing, and I know he'll get there because he is incredible. And I don't want it to sound like I'm saying he hasn't done a good dance because all of his dances have been insanely amazing. I'm just waiting for that one where I feel like, okay, he's a ballroom dancer. Okay, so we have all the dances done, then we go to elimination, and things get really awkward. So this is one of those things where I've never seen this happen, but stuff like this can happen on live television, and you kind of just have to go with it. And I feel bad because I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people blaming Tyra for what happened with the elimination when I'm pretty positive that it was not her fault. I think she was literally just reading what she was given, and it sucks because then she was in the position where she had to say somebody was safe and then make them come back out, which is an emotional thing. I mean, I can't even imagine. And I just felt bad because I feel like Tyra was getting all the hate for it, like she purposely did it or like she made the mistake, but they give them a card to read off and the names are on the card. So she was reading the names and there was somebody else who messed it up. So that was a bummer. It was a little bit awkward. I felt bad for everyone involved. And it sucks because when you're the people on TV actually dealing with it, you have to take the brunt of all of the anger or the emotions or the feelings or the thoughts that people have, and that's always tough because sometimes it's out of your control. But yeah, we ended up with, after a weird flip-flop, we had Ann and Keo and Monica and Val on the bottom. I was extremely shocked that Monica and Val were in the bottom, especially because they had their best night of dancing. I didn't get it at all. I hope they don't ever end up there again. I agreed with the judge's decision to save Monica and Val. I am super sad to see Anne go because she's just so much fun to watch, but I do think that Monica has shown more improvement over the weeks, and I think she has a lot more potential and a lot more to grow, so I'm excited to see her stay. But yeah, it was just kind of an awkward moment, and I felt bad for everybody, because like I said, when you're the people that you're watching, like when you're on screen and you're on camera, you have to just roll with the punches and go with it.
Yeah.
But there's also people behind the scenes that maybe were the reason for the issue, and you don't see them, you see us, and then you blame the people that you see on TV, and I kind of felt bad. So yeah, that was a bummer, but I'm glad with how it turned out. I am really gonna miss Anne and Keo. She has such a fun personality, and I think they did an incredible job all season. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Rylee, do you have any? My belly just poked out. Rylee, do you have any last minute things, some tips and tricks for next week for any of the celebs?
I think this season is really good. All the celebrities are really great. They have good personalities.
Yep.
It's a good time, just making sure all the girls point their feet.
Yes, point your toes, ladies. That is important. Stretch them and stretch them. Wow, I have a bad point actually.
Yeah.
Do you have a bad point?
No, it's better than yours.
Whatever. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back next week. I don't know if Rylee will be here. I might pull one of my other sisters in, but we will do it again.
Yeah.
See you there. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave me some questions in the comments below that you want me to answer. And yeah, I really want to try to FaceTime with a couple next week. So drop below the couple that you want me to FaceTime with most, and we'll try to make it happen. Okay, bye you guys. See ya.
Bye.